If you have a function f of x equal to 9, and the question find the derivative, f prime of x. I'll try to mix the notation for the derivative. And if you recall from last class, the definition of f prime of x is what? It's the limit as what? Do you want to use delta x or h? Which one? Any preference?
Delta x.
I'll mix and match. Delta x approaches 0. For this, it's not bad to use delta x. F of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Other books, they might use same thing. The limit, instead of delta x, h approaches 0. F of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. It really doesn't matter which one you use. I like the bottom one just because one letter versus two, but I'll do the first problem with this one. I'll mix and match. And if you recall, we said let's call the 4 steps. The process here is called the 4 steps. The reason we call the 4 steps, the first step, you got to find f of x plus delta x, which says go to the f function, that's this one, and replace x with what? X plus delta x, right? Well, there is no x in it to replace with x plus delta x, so that stays 9. You replace x with x plus delta x. If there is no x, the numbers don't change. You don't replace anything. Step number 2, f of x plus delta x minus f of x. 9 minus 9, which is what? 0. Step number 3, f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Take the answer from step number 2, which is what? 0 divided by delta x, and what are you going to have? Still 0. And step number 4, take the limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. That's the limit as delta x approaches 0. The answer to this happens to be 0. Now the limit says what? First step, direct substitution. Go to this expression. Every time you see delta x, put a 0 in it. There is no delta x. The numbers don't change. So the answer is 0.
Here's my stupid question, if you don't mind. Step 1 there, f x plus delta x equals 9. Why aren't we substituting the x with the 9 and then leaving the delta x? So that would be 9 plus delta x.
Because the definition of f of x plus delta x says, let me just finish this one. So this is one of the shortcuts, by the way, one of the rules. The limit, we're going to be using that for the future. I mean, not the limit. If f of x equals a constant, will you, just died here. I'll come back to yours. This is one of the shortcuts for the limits. There's a lot of rules. One of them, if f of x equals c, which is a constant, that's constant, then the derivative of that is always going to be what? 0. So the derivative of any constant is 0. Always. Doesn't matter what that number. That number could be 9, 15, 20, 0, 34, minus 50. The derivative of that is 0. Now, to answer your question, if I have f of x equals 2x, and I ask you what is f of x plus delta x, what do? This one says go to the f function and replace what? And replace x with what? X plus delta x. That's what that means. Go to the f function, that's this function, and replace x with x plus delta x. Here we go. There's my f function. Replace x, not the number. The number you don't touch. Replace x with what? X plus delta x. So what are you going to have? 2x plus 2 delta x. So in the previous example, you had f of x equals 9. F of x plus delta x, it says replace x with what? X plus delta x. Let's go to it. Replace x by x plus delta x. Here we go. This becomes, take x out, put x plus delta x, and the numbers you don't touch. You replace x. There is no x on the right side to replace it. That's why it stayed 9. Ooh. Ooh. That's an ugly one. The next one's ugly. And the next one is uglier.
Yeah, you do number
4?
Yeah, whatever ugly ones.
Oh no, the 6th ugly one I'm looking at. I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
Yep.
Put the x cubed plus x squared.
Yep.
I don't know how to do that one.
Okay. Number 6. Well, it's just like a lot of math in it, a lot of algebra. F of x equals 4x cubed plus 2x squared. And the question, what's the derivative? Again, the limit, I'll use h here because it will be a little bit savior, of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Step number 1, again, the 4-step process. What is f of x plus h? It's going to be 4 times, replace x with x plus h. And that's what I meant by ugly, is finding x plus h cubed and x plus h squared.
The square is outside the parentheses.
Oh yeah. The square is outside. You can replace it, you're squaring x, not... Thank you. How do we find these two? They're the ugly ones. Now, last class, I showed you a way to cheat and get the answer quickly. It's called Pascal Triangle. Let me refresh your memory with it. So let me take this aside. I'll do this and that quickly. It's called Pascal Triangle. If you want to research that, go Google it. And Pascal Triangle says start with 1, 1, and 1. Start with this. That's all you have to memorize. The next block, add 1 plus 1, 2, and put in the middle between these two numbers, and put 1s on the outside. You go into the out, so make sure you don't line the 1s on top of each other. The next one, 1 and 2, 3, 2 and 1, 3 and 1's on the outside. The next one, 1 and 3, 4, 3 and 3, 6, 3 and 1, 4 and 1's on the outside. And I can keep going. How is that going to help me? Let me find x plus h cubed first. I'll do the cube. Let me do the square first. Then I'll do here x plus h cubed. I figure I have more space on the bottom. This is when the power is 0. This is the power. 0. Power is 1. Power is 2. Power is 3. Power is 4. We're going to use these numbers. So for the power being 2, I'm going to use these three numbers. I'm going to get the answer in one step. The coefficients are what? 1, 2, and 1. Leave a space between them. 1, 2, and 1. These are the numbers I took from here. I'm going to start with x raised to that power, h raised to 0. The first one raised to the power, the second one to 0. After that, what are you going to do? Subtract 1 from this power, add 1 to that power. That'll be what? X to the 1, h to the 1. And the last one will be what? Subtract 1 from this power, add 1 to that power. X to the 0, h to what power? 2. Yep. So can we simplify that answer? What do we have? X squared plus 2xh, I don't need the ones on it, plus what? H squared. I'll come back and put them in a few minutes. I'll go back and plug them in. What about x plus h cubed? Let me try a different color here. The cube, these are the numbers. 1, 3, 3, 1. So x to what power here? X to the 3, h to what power? 0. The next number, x to what power? 2, h to what power? 1. The next number, x to what power? 1, h to a power of 2. And the last one, x to the 0, h to the third. Instead of multiplying that 3 times, that's the quickest way. You can still multiply them out 3 times if you want to do it that way. That's x cubed, 3x squared h, 3xh squared plus h cubed. And I bet you if I multiply that 3 times and I did it right, my answer will look like this. Now if I screwed things up, that's a different story. So let's go and plug them back into this equation because we have the answers to these pieces. Here we go. We know what x cubed is. I have it right there. I mean x plus h cubed. X cubed. I got it right really small. Plus 2 times. I know the answer to that. I have it on the top. You can't see it off this. Well, I can slide it down. You can see it right here now. And what do we have? 4x cubed plus 12x squared h plus 12xh squared plus 4h cubed plus 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. That's step number 1. The good news starts to shrink after that. What's step number 2? I better write it, enter it here, because I'm not going to fit it there. That's going to equal to 4x cubed plus 12x squared h plus 12x h squared plus 4h cubed plus 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. That's the first piece. Subtract from it f of x, which is what? 4x cubed plus 2x squared. Can we cancel anything? They cancel each other out. So what's my answer here? 12x squared h plus 12xh squared plus 4h cubed plus 4xh plus 2h squared. Step number 3. You're really going to dislike me by the end of the class. Divide, take this and divide it by h. Well, if you divide each one by h, what are you going to have? 12x squared plus what? 12xh, yep. Plus what? 4h squared plus what? 4x plus 2h. And what's step number 4? Take the limit as h approaches 0 of that answer. As h approaches 0, not x. So let h be 0. What do you have? The 12x squared, that doesn't change. There's no h in it. What happened to this piece? 0. What happens to that one? 0 plus the 4x. And what happened to 2h? 0. So anyone that has h in it will go to 0. And you end up with that answer. Ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh.
That just seems unreasonably time consuming.
Yes. Be quiet there. Somebody's smiling in the back. I says, be quiet. You know that too? There is actually, the reason I only covered section 3.1 last time is let's go home, because I want you to do them this way. There is a shortcut to these, and this problem can be done in about 5 seconds without having to do the math.
I have like 3 pages of work.
Yep.
All around answers.
Yep, they do that. They make us suffer through that. And that rule, actually, the shortcut, ready for this? There's a so the shortcut, we gave you one already. It says, if f of x equals a constant, what's the derivative of that? The other one says, this is rule number 2 for now. If f of x equals x raised to a power n, raised to the power n, doesn't matter what the power is, the derivative of that, move the power to the front and subtract 1 from the power. So quickly, I'll leave this one, show you how that problem can be done in about 5 seconds. And that's why I stopped last time, because I don't want to give you, that's today's topic, the shortcuts. Watch this. If f of x equals x to the 5th, guess what the derivative? Do I need to use Pascal triangle? No. The derivative of that is what? 5x to what power? 4th. That's it. I don't have to use Pascal triangle, do the 4 steps, nothing. But every calc book make you go through that.
Wait. So if you did the 4 steps,
You'll end up with that
you would
answer.
end up 5x to the
Yep.
4th?
Yep.
Kidding me?
Yep. You want to get mad at this one? Remember this question? Watch this. That's what I told you, you're going to hate me now. Watch this. Here's the 4 sitting in the front, the derivative of that. We'll do that in one step later, but now we'll do it in color steps. There's the 4. What's the derivative x to the 3rd?
3x squared.
3x squared. Plus, there's the 2. What's the derivative of x squared?
2x.
What's 4 times 3?
12.
12x squared. What's 2 times 2?
4x.
Was that the answer?
That's the worst.
After section 3.1, nobody does it this way. I mean, you can, or do it that way. That's why we try not to actually cover the shortcut till we do that section, hoping we torture you, go through that, you have more appreciation for the shortcut.
So what's the shortcut again? It's
Derivative x to the n. We're going to be covering these shortly.
Can I have you do an example of like a different problem using the shortcut?
Oh, we're going to be doing tons of them, but we'll wait on that. That's today's topic. Now, unfortunately, the shortcut now, you can't apply it to number 7. 7? Yep. You can't apply that to number 7. Because this shortcut only applies if you have x raised to the power of n. So number 7 is you have f of x equals 9 over x minus 3. You can't write that x to the power of something here. You can't. So that shortcut I showed you does not work here. We have a shortcut, but not that quick. It might be about 6-7 steps to do this, but that's not till later. So right now I want to find the derivative. Again, it's the limit. As h approaches 0 with these big problems, better to use h, because you saw I took the whole page to finish it. So the less writing that you have there. The better. Four steps. F of x plus h. Replace x with x plus h. And you can't simplify this. That's it. So step number 2. This will be what? 9 over x plus h minus 3 minus 9 over x minus 3. Anytime you have fraction, sooner or later you have to simplify that. So it might be to your advantage to find the LCD and simplify it right now. And what's my LCD?
X plus h minus 3.
Yep, x minus 3 times x plus h minus 3, the product of the two different factors. Now, to rewrite this one, or to change the bottom of this to make it look like this, we need to multiply it by what?
X minus 3.
Yep, 9 times x minus 3. To make this look like this, I need to multiply it by what?
X plus h minus 3.
We're still in step number 2. The bottom, x minus 3 times x plus h minus 3. Look at the top. Let's distribute that. That's 9x minus what? 27, right? Remember, this is a minus 9 times that. That'll be what?
Negative 9x.
Negative 9x. Go ahead. What's the next one?
Minus 9h.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative 9h. Good. And the last one is what?
Plus 27.
Plus 27, because there's a minus 9 here. Minus the whole thing. Everyone see that? It changes all the signs.
That would just be 9h.
Yep. The 9x cancels the 9x. The 27 cancels out. And what you have left, step number 2, is negative 9h over x minus 3 times x plus h minus 3. That's step number 2. Bless you. We're going to do step number 3 now. Step number 3 says take f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Well, dividing by h is the same as multiplying by 1 over h. Or when you have a fraction and you want to divide it by h, the quickest way is just stick an h in the bottom. Notice I just dropped an h in the bottom. If you're dividing a fraction by h, just add h to the bottom.
Because dividing by h is the same thing as multiplying by 1 over h.
Well, correct. It's multiplication by 1 over h. When you multiply a fraction, it goes on the bottom. And the h will cancel. And what do we have? Negative 9 over x minus 3, x plus h minus the 3. And the last step, step number 4. What are we going to do? Take the limit as h approaches 0. So if we take the limit as h approaches 0, you're going to have negative 9 x minus 3 times what? X minus 3, and you end up with negative 9 over x minus 3 squared. Notice we're replacing h by 0, not x.
why did the second H stand out?
Because you're replacing h with 0. Any other question on this one? I have a couple more to answer. Then we'll look at the shortcuts. Everyone's good? We'll only be here for an hour. Seems like 2 hours, huh? Everyone's quiet, tired.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Huh?
Shortcut.
You're going to see a lot of shortcuts actually. Goes, oh, I can't believe we had to do this the long way. Given f of x to be x squared plus 2, they're giving us a point.
Which one is this?
This is, oh yeah, I'm sorry, this is number 10. And the question says find the equation of the tangent line. Of the tangent line at the point 1 comma 3.
Not the same process?
Huh?
Isn't it like the same process?
A little bit different. We're not looking for the derivative. Well, I shouldn't say we're not looking for it. That's not what they're looking for. If I graph x squared plus 2, the graph looks like this. One comma 3, x is 1, y is 3 is right there. And the tangent line is a straight line, this line. And what they're asking us is, can you tell me what the name of this line is, what the equation for that green line is? Well, that's a straight line. To find the equation of a straight line, we use y minus y sub 1 from chapter 1 equals the slope m x minus x sub 1. Remember that from chapter 1? Can't remember what section 1.1, 1.2. Find the equation of the line. So that's what we have to use. Do we have, now we know the point 1 and 3, and if you remember to use this equation, you need two things. What do you need? The slope and a point. So we have the point, so it's y minus 3 equals m, which is we don't know, x minus 1. So if I know what m is, I'm done. M is the slope.
Is that what it's asking you? If you knew what M was, that's how you would type it in the computer?
No, you're going to solve it for y, right?
Right.
You're going to say y equals and type the answer, because I'm sure they wanted mx plus b. They're looking for the equation of that. Now, how do we find the slope?
That's the limit of the function.
Well, the slope of the tangent line, that's what we need, is actually what? Look at section 3.1. What do you think the slope of the tangent line? That's called what? The derivative. Isn't the derivative the slope of the tangent line? So if you want the slope at 1, you want to actually find the derivative at 1. That's what m is, because you want to find the slope at that point, so you need to find the derivative at that point, because the derivative is the slope of the tangent line. That's the definition of derivative. So I need to find the derivative of x first. Let x be 1. That will give me the slope at that point. Then I can plug it back in and get my answer. So they weren't looking for the derivative, but I said we still, bless you, we still need to find what that derivative is. Because to find the slope, you got to find the derivative. So let's go to the side here. Leave this page. We'll come back to it. Let's go and find the derivative of this function.
we use the shortcut on that?
Well, we could. So here we go. You want the shortcut on that? F prime of x is going to be, the shortcut says there's no number in the front, so take the 2, move it to the front, reduce x by what? The power by what? 1, so it becomes x to what power? 1 plus, what's the derivative of any constant? 0. So what's the answer? 2x. See how quick the shortcut? The derivative of this plus the derivative of that. Now, we want to find the derivative at 1. So this as a function of x. So what is f prime at 1? You let x be 1 here. 2 times 1, which is 2. So that's my slope. That's what m is. Now, if I know m, can I go back and plug it in? Go back to this one. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 1. Clean it. Y minus 3 equals what? 2x minus 2. Move the minus 3 there. Is that 2x plus 1? So that's what they're looking for. What is the name of that green line? What's the equation for it? It's y equals 2x plus 1. So in the box, they're giving you y equals, and you're supposed to write 2x plus 1. But that's just another way of making sure you understand what the definition of the derivative means. It is the slope of the tangent line. They're not asking for the slope. They're saying find the equation of the tangent line, the name of it. So to find the equation of any line, we use that one. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So I need 1 point and the slope. They gave us the point. They didn't give us the slope. We had to go fish for it. The last one. There is no 14. Last one is 13. Did somebody say 14 from 3-1?
I think I said one of the last ones.
Oh,
Yeah, I just went.
okay, it could be 13, 12, 13. Okay. Let's look at 13. The tangent line is what we have. The tangent line to the graph y equals g sub x at point 2 comma 6. Let me write it down. Looks like a lot of stuff there. The tangent line. So tangent line sounds like derivative, you know. The slope of that is the derivative. But the tangent line to the graph y equals some function. They're not telling us what the function is. A function of x at point 2 comma 6. Passes through the point. The point 3 comma 4. That's what the problem is. I'll come back and try to graph it and see what we're talking about. The problem, what is f? G, not f. I'm sorry, we're using g here. Find g of 2. Find g sub 2 and the derivative at 2. Again, they just want to make sure you understand the definition of derivative. I'll let you finish writing that. We'll come back and revisit this. We have no idea what the graph looks like. We'll make believe the graph looks like this. I don't know, something. Let's say this is the point, 2 comma 6. This is the tangent line. There's a tangent line. Well, 2, 6, and 3 and 4, that means it's coming down. Let me bring it closer here. Because it's smaller, the next point is lower, that means it's coming down. So let's say this is the point, 2 and 6, right? The tangent line of that looks like this. So the next point they've given us, it says the tangent line passes through the point 3 comma 4. That's why I put it down here as coming down. Notice the y value as x increases, what happened to the y value? Dropped, so I know it was coming down. It wasn't going up. And the first question, what is the value of the function at 2? This is the function g. What's the value of the function at 2? I'm looking at the green line. When x is 2, what's the y value? 6. Part A is done. Oh, G, I'm not using F, I'm using G here. G sub 2, keep forgetting. Now, what's the derivative at 2? Isn't the derivative is the slope of the tangent line? Well, there's my tangent line, the red line. Can you see red on the screen? Yep. What's the slope of that red line? That's a straight line. That's y2 minus y1 over what? x2 minus x1. That's 4 minus 6 over what? 3 minus 2? There's the 2 points. And what do we have? Is that a negative 2? Yep. So really the point here again, making sure you understand that the slope of the tangent line is the derivative. So when they say, what's the derivative at 2? I said, let's look at the tangent line. It's a straight line. What's the slope of that? It's the rise over the run. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.